I sent up the bat signal, and Kimmy answered. We needed a guest for tonight, and here she is.
I've got no life, so I said, yes, Sam, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it for you.
And now there's an offer I haven't had for a while.
Oh, God.
Hello and welcome to Monday Club.
Come on.
Was that too much?
No, I liked it. A little bit of pizzazz. Come on. So we are. This is Monday Club, and Amy's out tonight. She's probably working. I don't know if you follow her on Instagram at all, but that girl works till like 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. I don't know what house she's doing that on, but she is a beast like that. So I threw up the bat signal, searching for a guest to fill in last minute, and Kimmy answered. So Kimmy, welcome to Monday Club.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Good evening.
All right, they sound creepy. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that was a bit weird, wasn't it? Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Kimmy.
They're like, another girl. But don't
Kimmy,
worry.
you learn to when Sam does this as well. When he will just continuously wind everyone up individually. I know you've done it.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Just ignore him.
He loves
just
it.
roll.
He's like a little.
Yeah.
Oh, but Kimmy, what we talk. So listen, right? The hot topic when we was doing our podcast
Was the bin talk.
Yeah, like this, yeah. Was bin talk. But the hot topic when me and you done our podcast was your selector on power tools.
Oh, are we going to talk about that again?
No, I just want to know where we are.
I'm still on the JCB.
Yeah, I watched your video the other day. It was about an
Isn't
hour
JC
long, wasn't it?
Isn't
Yeah, that was my
JCB
first
the
ever attempt. Definitely an hour long. I don't even have the attention span to listen to myself talk for an hour. So
No, it was good. Like the audio was all right, the camera quality, all that sort of stuff. It's just the problem was it was JCB tools.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh,
Come on,
Oh.
like we've got to do something about this. Listen, let's put a shout out to the manufacturers today. Kimmy's in desperate need of some new tools, right? So, DeWalt, if you're listening, I don't know, Milwaukee, Makita, Bosch, any of those guys, let's have a bit of charity in the community. Let's get Kim some proper tools, yeah. Anyway, moving on. I'll fill in the awkward silences with my constant rambling. Kimmy,
Thank you.
so what have you been up to this week, mate? What was your last week like? Give us a day in the life of Kimmy on the tools.
to be honest, I had to go back on my phone, scroll through the pictures, and remind myself what I did for the whole week. I couldn't remember. The highlight of the week was my new Nipex pliers that I've been dreaming about for a whole month. That was awesome.
Yeah.
A whole month I was dreaming about it. I finally got them. Haven't used them yet. I literally just put them on the front seat and just look at them. They're just, yeah. So that was the highlight of the week. What else did I do? Just the standard social housing stuff, you know, crazy places and lots of mold, lots of funky stuff I've got my hands on. And
listen,
yeah.
I've got something to ask you. I notice when you do your videos, and this is blowing you up now. I'm gonna blow your spot up right now. You don't wear a mask?
I do. As soon as I come out the house, as soon as I've shut the door, it comes off in my pocket. And then certain houses, if the tenant's all the way in the other room, and then I'm in the bathroom and it's hot, I'll take it off while I'm in the bathroom. As soon as I'm back out, I do put it on. Good. Yeah. No, I do.
I'll let you off on that one, all right?
Yeah, you know what? Oh, I was going to say in my jacket, I always carry one in my pocket. So, yeah, just it makes things a lot easier.
I've got the awkward thing. I've got about four, I don't like to look them, 4 or 5 of them. And they all keep going walkies. And I've got a fuse box one that I got when I bought a fuse box board. And it's a good mask, but around the ears, it's the elastic. So if you pull it, it like carpet burns the back of your ears.
Yes.
Oh God, and it's the only one I could find at the moment. I don't know where they all keep going.
Listen, I bought the best masks, right? I've spent so much money on masks trying to find the good one. So first one I bought was the Under Armour one. And it's really like, it's comfortable for breathing. Like you can breathe through it. It's breathable, but it just pulls your ears forward all the time. And it was just winding me up. The whole day it was winding me up. So then I bought an Oakley one because I thought I'm going to buy a good one, right? So I bought an Oakley one and it felt like I was wearing my wife's thong on my face or something. It went right around your head and it was all like made out of the same material. I was like, this is weird. Didn't like that. So then I was in Tesco's and there was a pack of 3. One was like army colour, one was like urban army colour, and one was black. And it was 3 in the pack for like a £5. I was like, I'll try them because it had like string for around the ears. Mate, they're the most comfortable mask. I've got one in my car, one in her car, and then just one for spare. It's the best mask you can buy. Tesco's, pack of 3.
My mum had this
Do they
thing.
come in
called
different
Snoods.
colours?
Yeah, they do come in different colours, but they don't make a JCB one.
Oh, good. It's the snood ones that you can get, like the scarf things. I've seen loads of people wearing them recently. But,
Pointless.
yeah, I don't want a hot neck.
Marco, you're very quiet tonight. What's going on?
I'm podcasted out. I've done a couple before this actually for Apprentice 1-to-1. So my week is split in 2, as you know, with the day job and Apprentice 1-to-1. So I'll start with that first. You might have seen the generous Eddie from Pegasus.
Yes.
Has
good lad.
given up a mega MFT to put in the hands of an apprentice, ideally a level 2, level 3 person, just starting out with a test and inspection. And that's started a landslide, to be honest, of people getting in touch, wanting to donate all sorts of gear. So, you know, there's people giving up speedy real drivers, power tools, hand tools, loads of stuff. And I'm speaking with Eddie now because I'm hoping he's going to kind of look after that on behalf of Apprentice 1-to-1, seeing it was him who put that into motion. So there's that, and there's a load of other podcasts coming out that I've recorded with people, apprentices mainly, because I'm trying to speak with them as often as possible, give them somewhere to air their frustrations. So there's some of those coming out. So that was Apprentice 1-to-1, and then in the day job, we've actually picked up a couple of decent contracts with some landlords and letting agents for periodics and remedials. So that's been quite nice. And you know, you see a lot of bad press towards letting agents on social media sometimes, and my experience of them is that, you know, it's the opposite. They're actually pretty decent, some of the ones we work with, and while I know there are some shady ones about, generally speaking, you know, it's just people trying to manage properties in the safest way they can. So I was pleased to pick those up. So busy times.
So you're smashing it, Mark. It's nice to see.
Yeah, man.
Success in the Monday Club house. So Nico, now listen, we all know what Nick's been doing all week. I phoned him today about, I don't know, 3 o'clock. I'm like, oh, I can hear. It sounded like he was driving. It sounded like the air was going past. I was like, Nick, what are you doing? He goes, I'm in my unit. I go, what are you doing? He goes, melting metal. This is it. Look.
Oh, I see that. I love it.
So I have been going to work, but it's what I've said in the video. Let me just. Oh, I have. I'll jump back to Apprentice 1-to-1 as well. The video that's coming out tomorrow night, which would have, for everyone else watching this, will be last week. I did a shout out to Sam, Mark, and Amy, and Mark spoke a bit about Apprentice 1-to-1. If anybody, because I get that many questions about apprenticeships, I have a bloody clue half the time. I just put your YouTube and Instagram and everything on there and said, any apprenticeships that want any advice or this is what you do, they're going to get in contact with you that way. And Sam's on there and Amy's. But yeah, no, with work, I did say on the video, we've got quite a lot of work on. I've done quite a few fuse boards, a lot of EICRs, but the problem with at the moment, people around our area are like quite strict now with COVID, more than ever before. And we're going in people's houses. I've just said to Adam, if I know I've got the content at the unit, let's just get in, get the jobs done and get out. And instead of waving around a camera in my face, spend another 2 hours there that we don't need to be. So electrical content's lacking a little bit, but work's still there. But I'm having every Monday off while Adam's doing his college stuff to go in the unit and film stuff. So it's working out well. It's just,
imagine
I'm
that
enjoying.
life. Imagine that life. I'm having Monday off to film content. What? And I'm phoning him, and he's standing there. I go, what are you doing? I'm melting metal. I'm smelting metal, and I'm like, what? Yeah, I've been doing it all day.
Yeah, so the today's idea was I literally want to create stuff that no one has ever done before. Like the amount of electrical videos we've done, and we've all seen duplicated a fuse board video 100 times at least on YouTube between all of us. Is with this now, I've collected all loads of old fuse boards up. So what I've been doing is I took 5 old boards apart today. I've got literally like 50 on the shelf somewhere. I don't like throwing them away. I like keeping them because I want to put them on the wall in the unit. One time I do a video for apprentices saying, this is the age of boards from so-and-so to so-and-so. This is what it contains. This is, you know, that sort of stuff for people to learn. But I thought I'll take 5 boards apart, strip it of the brass, the copper, the zinc, the tin, and smelt it all separately. So then that was what 5 fuse boards gave you of brass, just under 1 kilo. And then I had like 600 gram of copper. So I didn't melt the other stuff because I didn't quite know what was in it. And if you don't know what's in it, it could smoke quite a lot. And obviously if I'm doing it in a unit, obviously I've got air ventilation through, but I don't want to be smoking myself out. So yeah, it's good.
How much have you spent on gas for your smelting device?
I had to get to it's a second tank I bought today, but Traction around the corner for me, they give you a full bottle for 30 quid, which is good.
And how much have you made from your smelting? 30 quid?
No, because someone asked me this today, what are you going to do with all the bars? So there's 10 bars that I'm going to sell. I've ordered a laser CNC machine.
What?
Yeah, because I tried to mold my logo into the bars, and what I was going to do is sell 10 with serial numbers on, limited edition things. There's so many people out there that wanted one. I said I'll sell 10 with a 1 to 10 on the back with my logo on it or whatever, personalized to that person. I thought that would be a cool little merch thing to do. Not like anyone else has done it before, but I physically couldn't get the mold right on each one through sand or whatever. So I spoke to my brother and he was like, because copper is a soft metal, we can either use a laser or a cheap CNC machine and just engrave stuff on the back. So that's the plan with all that. It's just, I can sell that, but the rest of the bars I'll just keep and either do giveaways or just keep a big stash in the back or something, because the price copper's going at, technically a kilo of copper, bright copper is what, £4.50, £4.60. You can sell an ingot online for about 20 quid.
Ingot.
But ingot bar.
Amy put it, I mean, Kimmy put it on you. Ingot?
Ingot? Are we on Minecraft? What is this? The Vikings?
That's what my kid said to me. Honestly, it's exactly what my kid said to me.
An ingot? Wow. I didn't expect that.
Cool. I liked Kimmy before this.
She's calling you out in your dumb words, boy. Listen, CNC laser machines aren't as expensive as I thought. I was going to blow you up then, but
no, they're not that bad. The one I bought, I think, is about 400 quid or something like that.
The life of 10
see what happens if you put your hand under it.
Yes. Yes. But I've
put your hand here.
I've had an interesting week. I had an interesting week doing nothing. Nothing.
Do you have a good week taking the bins out?
Listen, funny story, right? Amanda's like, got to take bins out for tomorrow morning. Get it picked up tomorrow morning. It's Monday mornings, isn't it? Gets picked up. So I was like, all right, sweet. And then I was tired and I was like, I'll just get up early in the morning. I didn't wake up till 9 because I haven't been working. Because I walked off the job last week. And there's not much about. So yeah, I've shot myself in the foot a bit. So I'm just sort of kicking it. Lock the door in a minute. I'm just kicking around, not doing a lot at the moment. So that's super annoying, and it's making a very miserable Sam. So today, this is the height of my stories this week. So today I'm sitting there and I'm miserable. I'm like, babe, I'm going back to bed. I can't be bothered with today. And she's no, we got to go for a walk. We got to go for a walk. Got to take the dog for a walk. Take Harper out. Blah blah. I was like, you go. I'm not going today. I'm just not doing it. You know them days where you just like, I ain't going out. Anyway, she comes back and she goes, we need COVID tests. I think Harper's got COVID. I was like, she definitely hasn't. Anyway, we live round the corner from the COVID testing place, Manston Airport. Anyway, booked the test, 11:30. I've only been up an hour. I'm like, fuck, I've got to go and get a COVID test now. So I get up, get dressed, slough downstairs, go and sit in the car waiting for her. She comes out, closes the door. You got the keys? Nah. Probably should have asked that two seconds ago. She locked the keys in the house and then goes, it's not my fault. I'm like, bitch, you're the last one through the door. What are you talking about? It's your fault. You usually bring the keys out. So, yeah, we had a massive row about the keys. Then I was going to smash the window to get back in the house, but that was just griefy. And I had to phone my mum, who took 45 minutes to arrive when she's 20 minutes down the road, drive from my house to Ramsgate and back to get in the house. So 2.5 hours wasted sitting about outside my house when I could have been laying in my bed feeling sorry for myself. First world problems.
We used to have this when I lived at home years ago, is when it was a bit of it's fixed now anyway, but when we had a dog, we had quite a big dog flat, but not so big that I could physically fit through it, but big enough that you could put your arm in, bring it up, reach the back door key, physically pop it out, bring it out. And my mum would go, "Oh, how'd you get in? You haven't got the key." We didn't tell her for years until I was pissed up one night, come back from the pub, the doors were locked. And she come down, my dad, like frightened because her dad was about to beat the shit out of someone breaking in the house. And all they saw was my arm through the dog flapping around because I was pissed, couldn't find the key.
No, so I had this idea. What I was going to do was on the front door, there's like a small window, isn't there? I was just going to smash that. So I got the tire iron out and I was just going to smash that. And then Amanda was like, "Yeah, but it's patterned glass. I don't know if we're going to get another one that shape or what. Like, don't do that." So I was like, all right, well, I'll go around the back and I just smashed the normal window to get in. So I phoned my brother, he goes, "Just go and get the key, man." Because he knows about these things. I was like, "How much is it going to cost me?" He's like, "It'll probably cost you 80 quid and a day of messing around." I was like, "I don't fancy a day of messing around. I fancy just like going and sitting in my bed." Because you smash the window, you've got to clean up the glass. Then you've got to get a bit of ply, cut a bit of ply for it temporarily till you go and get a bit of glass ordered. That is so long. So yeah, I actually haven't got much in the way to report on electrical work this week. The most I've done with the electrical work was change a battery in the smoke alarm. That's it.
Wow.
You have been doing stuff though, Sam. Let's cover your podcasting activities, because I have seen you pumping out podcasts left, right, and centre. I watched one this morning, a very good one this morning. Tell us about that one.
Go on, Mark, with your presenting skills. You've been in the groove today. I'll do me old Fat Sam podcast. Come on, merch available.
Oh, you've got the jumper. I love it.
Fat Sam, got to wear that.
I love it.
Do you know what? Funny story. Before I get into it, I was last week. I was driving along, and I live near Margate, and there's like a little Margate Harbour, and there's like a Tate gallery there. Anyway, driving past, and I saw they were doing building work in there. So I drove in and was talking to the guy. I saw a builder come out. I was like, "Who's the electrical firm on here?" Blah, 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 having a chat with him. And he goes, "Oh, well, give me your number. I'll pass it on." He goes, "Oh, what's your name?" I was like, "Fat Sam." And he goes, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, it's written on my shirt." Yes. So I've got to speak to them this week. So I might be working in Margate. So that'd be good. It's only 5 minutes down the road for me. Right, so podcasting. So obviously I started up my own podcast, little side thing, because I want to concentrate more on the problems in construction as a whole, from anything from mental health, addiction, just smashing stereotypes, getting people talking about the problems and hitting them face on. Obviously I've got a terrible history of just being a bit of a reprobate. Yeah, I've just been doing that this week. I mean, Kimmy's been on there. She's my big hit podcast. She smashed it out the arena. Lots of positive feedback. So thank you very much for that, Kimmy. Oh, and by the way, I was the person who invented Kimmy the Spark. Come on.
He actually was. He made me who I am. Yeah.
Because you were pro electric before, weren't you?
Yeah, I was
like, it was just, and he was like, "Why don't you just show him you're a woman?" I was like, "Really? Will they accept me?" He's like, "Yeah, just go for it." I was like, "You know what? Change the profile pic, change the name." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's actually a thing now." So yeah, when I'm rich and famous like Mr. Nick, I will all to you. I'll pay you.
So does he. Don't worry about that.
Oh fuck.
Triggered.
He says it all the time, Kimmy. He says, you wouldn't be anything without me, Nick. You wouldn't know any of these companies. All right, okay. And like half of it is true, but the rest isn't. But Sam won't take it, so all or nothing.
Listen,
So,
I'll take any credit. I'll take all the credit of anything. But
You
no,
sh-
so I've
you
been
should
doing
have-
this. So I've been doing this podcast, and obviously I spoke to a guy called Matt Thomas, who then introduced me to a guy called Duncan Thompson. I always forget his surname. I forgot it straight on the podcast. And like, I've talked to him loads and loads. We talk all the time. Anyway, so we've been doing this this podcast, and we sort of sitting around. Matt's quite intense, and he does like lots of things that are a bit weird. And I started doing them as well, like cold showers. Like, I never thought cold showers would be a thing I would do. I had one just before the podcast to sort of liven me up, make me feel good about myself. You get in, you do the cold shower, like you do a normal shower, get all fresh, and then bam, I just go in now, wallop, twist it right round, and then it just gets colder. You have to see how long you can firm it for, and then get out, and then you feel amazing. Like your skin's tingling because it's so cold, because it's obviously winter, so the pipes are cold, whatever, and it's just tingling, and I love it.
I hate cold showers. I hate them.
Well,
I tried to do that in the summer, you know, and it was like 1,000,000,000 degrees outside. And I was like, because I turned the boiler off. I was like, no one's using hot water and we're not having the heating on, because our nest kept turning the fucking heating on in the middle of the day for no reason, even though it was 35 degrees outside. If I'll go for a cold shower, I squealed like a baby.
All I'm saying is, you bees a pussy.
I couldn't deal it. I tried. I was like hyperventilating. And I realized it wasn't even on properly cold yet. I was like,
Yeah, I know, right? I did that for
I'm gonna
about 2
die.
weeks. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm mastering it now. And then I found it had like a half an inch to go. And I was like, well, that is so much colder.
Yeah, ice came out. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I've been doing that. And then we sort of were talking about, should we do a challenge? So this was last year before Christmas, and we was like, should we do a challenge in the new year? And I was like, well, drop January out, because everyone's doing their New Year's resolutions and stuff like that. They last for about 3 days. And then everyone's sort of feeling bad about themselves by the end of January. They've all hit the fuck it button. They're like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to eat chocolate. So it is what it is. But then we decided on February the 1st, 28 days, and we wanted to do is make a challenge that anyone of any fitness level can do. All it really requires is to do it and keep doing it. And that mental override of what you don't want to do is really the challenge. It's not the physical parts. It's not the not eating. It's willing yourself through that hardness of doing that. Like, it's a pig not eating for 16 hours a day. It's a pig getting up at 5:30. It's a pig going for a run at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's a pig getting in a cold shower after that run. And there's no one in this world that really, apart from Matt, that likes burpees. Like, it's such a divvy exercise.
Yeah.
I hate burpees. But
To be honest, I don't even know what a burpee is.
Sam will show us. Go on.
I will not show you. But a burpee's brutal. Look it up. Google it. It's brutal. And so it's just about getting yourself motivated, making people feel good. You know, there's a lot of people out there during this COVID downturn and stuff like that, struggling just like with, I don't know, just with life. There's like no end to COVID. You know, there's new Brazilian strains come out and all this, and they might not work on the vaccine. You know, all this nonsense keeps coming out. No one's got an end date in sight. Everyone feels like it's going to come to an end soon, but the government are telling you otherwise. So it's just something to sort of galvanize people, and not to overplay it. Like, might have 3 people join, but it's something we're going to do for ourselves, and we're inviting people to come along and do the challenge with us. All the details, Fat Sam Podcast on YouTube. You can watch the video, and you can go to Fat Sam Podcast on Instagram and hit that up as well. And all the details are on there, plus some other podcasts about inspiring things. And I've got one coming out Thursday as well, all about addiction in construction and substance abuse in construction. It's a deep subject, and for me, it's a rough one. It was a rough one. So that aside, I should stop talking now.
No, it was good.
I listen. I can go off.
We know.
It's good to hear you talking about the podcasts, and to be fair to you, you've given me the passion for doing them as well. I love doing podcasts, and you should take a lot of credit for that, mate, because you, Rick, started that out with EGTE way back when. You've trailblazers for the rest of us all following you. So good on you.
Do you know what's a hard pill to swallow though? Right? Okay, we're the original. Yes, we're the original. Still getting the least amount of downloads, though, aren't we? I'm sitting there like, fuck's sake. Like, Amy the Sparks just brought out her one, killing it. Brilliant interview. Love it. And I looked at it and I was like, well done, Amy. Yes, brilliant. I'm so pleased for you. Bollocks. Nick, just got 10,000 downloads this week, prick. Do you know what I mean? And Mark's like, oh yeah, I've done 15 videos today and I've got 24 to release next week. Leave some space for us, Mark. Do you know what I mean? Kimmy, listen, but Kim, you got something to say about this, haven't you?
Wait, what?
Wait, what? What about your YouTube channel? Come on.
Oh, yeah. I've got some content lined up. I'm filming, recording some interesting stuff.
Is it
so
though?
Yeah, I'm just gonna... Is it what?
Interesting.
How rude.
I think it's a matter of perspective. It's basically my personality, but a YouTube channel. So it's just a bit wild. Not 100% electrical. A bit of random bits and bobs, but it is what it is.
I've just subscribed.
Yeah.
I didn't realise I wasn't subscribed. There you go. Boom.
You got Bundy on board now. Bundy will give you a shout out. About 3 people the next day.
So yeah, I've got I'm releasing a few here and there, and I'm not trying to do a podcast yet. So your waters are safe. Let you and Amy do
I
that.
encourage it. I just wish people would listen to mine.
Oh,
It's true. You pushed me to do mine, Sam.
I know. Yeah, I'm like. Listen, I'm like Dracula of podcasting. Yeah, so of the podcasting and electrical industry, I'm like Dracula. Like I bit all these little people, and now they're all getting podcasts. And then it's like you're all part of my podcast family. I'm the daddy.
You're like the big daddy. I was just gonna say the big daddy of them all. The great grandfather.
Fat dad. The fat dad of electrical podcasting.
Fact. Obi-Wan.
Yeah. But outside of this, Mark, what is this week's hot topic?
So this week, and I'm pleased Kimmy's on this podcast as well with us tonight because she's involved with this as well. It's to do with the difference between initial verification and periodic inspection and testing. So initial verification and then EICRs, because a lot of people don't understand that they are a little bit different.
Listen, right, here we go. I don't know the difference. I thought EICR was just a new word for periodic.
Yeah, well, it is and it isn't. So, I mean, the EICR did replace the periodic inspection report, but we're talking about initial verification and then an EICR. So you can do a separate qualification, and that's been the case since they split the original 2391. So you had the 2394 and 2395, and now it's the 2391 Part 50 and Part 51. Part 50 being the initial verification and 51 your periodic inspection report, and then Part 52 is both together, so combined. And if you actually look in Guidance Note 3, it tells you that the purpose of an initial verification, it's where you're looking at all measures by means of which compliance of the electrical installation with the relevant requirements of BS 7671 are checked, comprising inspection, testing and certification. So basically that you're looking at the installation as a whole, and you need to be seeing that during construction as well.
Right. Break that down into normal talk.
You need to have had site.
Oh my God. I will smash
in zones.
So you got, right, Mark,
Hello.
you've got the worst connection in the world.
No way.
Yes way.
Well, is that a little log
sorry.
cabin he's in?
Mark's falling out. Don't worry about that. Listen, log cabin boy, fix your internet connection right now because I'm learning and I need to learn.
No, Mark, it was all right. It only went out for a second. You're all right.
All right. Well, where did it cut off from? I'll go back to that first bit again. So the initial verification is where you are checking by means of which compliant. No, I've gone. I've lost you, haven't I?
No, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Well, you're checking that the relevant requirements of BF 7671 are checked via inspection, testing and certification. and the inspector needs to see construction of that. So you need to check that cables are in zones and that they're right. Materials have been selected and erected, because often on bigger projects, you won't have the same person designing, installing, and then testing. And, you've got the full range of tests that you have to perform. So they're shown in guidance note 3. And they're a little bit different to what you might perform during a periodic inspection report. So if you look at a periodic inspection report, so an EICR, it says in guidance note 3 that that's really to provide an engineering view on whether or not the installation is in a satisfactory condition, where it can be.
Right, I've got this.
So you're not dismantling.
Wait,
you go first, Sam. I know, you go first. Go
before
on.
it goes out
Before
my
you
head.
lose it.
Before
I
it goes out
know,
my
go
head.
on.
Right, so initial verification is to make sure it was put in properly in the first place. And a EICR is to make sure that over time it's still compliant.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And also when you
every time
when you're doing an EICR, one of the one of the prime reason you do testing, and it actually states this in guidance note 3, and a lot of people kind of gloss over this, is that the main reason you're doing testing is to confirm that disconnection times in chapter 41 are ultimately met. And you don't have to perform a full range of tests in the way you would when you're carrying out initial verification. Often people get hung up on not doing insulation resistance between your line and neutrals, for example, when in most cases, certainly more complex installations, you can't disconnect all of the connected loads to do that. So you have to do line and neutral together to earth. And ultimately it says that, as the inspecting person, it's up to you to decide what range of tests you deem are necessary to decide if that installation is satisfactory and in a safe condition for continued use. And you can do that through sampling and things like that. And obviously, if you're finding defects and issues, you can expand that sampling rate into a larger area. More simple installations in domestic.
Stop. You're throwing out so much information that my tiny...
Slow it down for Sam, please. Slow it down for Sam. His brain's just had enough, I think.
Kimmy, you don't know what he's talking about, bruv.
This is simple, basic stuff. Come on.
Oh.
Nice.
All right, sweet. But anyway, right?
Initial verification versus EICR. Obviously, initial verification meaning the first verification of an installation, and EICR is a condition report of the... Come on, Sam. This is late.
I feel like I'm just getting hit with information. Like...
All terms. Come on, Sam.
Come on, Kimmy. You're repping out here. Right, listen. So understanding the difference between the two, I feel like I'm there in terms of the initial verification, the EICR. And what you're saying now is with the EICRs, it's about you don't necessarily have to go as deep with the overall test. You can take sampling tests, and then if there's a bit of a balls up on one of those samples, you expand that to sort of find out what's going on, and then you can sort of expand that sample range to see if the other circuits are as poorly managed as the first one that you've tested. Is that correct?
Sounds like you know what you're on about, Sam.
Yeah, pretty much nailed it, mate. I mean,
I can see reading. He's got Google on the screen.
Yeah, he's got it open, and definitely. With smaller domestic installations, you can go to the same extent as initial verification in most cases because they're quite simple and it's easy enough to disconnect most of the loads and such. But one important aspect is with your inspection. So that's the key aspect of an EICR for me, is the inspection process and the time you put into doing that. So you need to go around and check the external condition of most of the electrical installation. But a lot of people go too far with dismantling, so taking the installation to pieces and looking at every single accessory and connection.
I had that problem when I first
and
started
one of the
doing
key
it properly.
Yeah, I think a lot of people start like that, Nick. Yeah,
just trying to be thorough.
Yeah, and that's the mindset, isn't it? You think you're doing a thorough job, but really you can sometimes introduce faults by accident by opening so much when you've only got maybe a day on a site where you're looking at a house, if you're taking everything apart and then putting it back together, you're putting time pressure on yourself as well. So it's using that experience. And if you're seeing issues in the installation, you automatically know yourself that you need to look a little bit further. It's just experience, isn't it? And I think it's 651.2 as the reg that says detailed inspection without dismantling, together with the tests of Chapter 64, considered appropriate by the inspector. So it's kind of telling you that you do need to be looking inside accessories, but not all of them. And a lot of people who just pass the test and inspection and go off out doing this can be putting themselves under unnecessary pressure. Like you said yourself, Nick, I did the same as well. I think a lot of people do.
What's the percentage? Is it 20% of the accessories? In the
That's up to you.
You could write whatever you want.
The bare minimum.
No, I think bare minimum's 5%, isn't it?
But doesn't this fly in the face of... Sorry, Kimmy. Doesn't this fly in the face of what's been said over the last couple of years when it comes to EICRs, when this whole EICR thing was dropped on the industry? Like obviously E5 were talking about going further with the tests and trying to really pull the installation apart to really understand what's going on, getting deep understanding of it. Kind of this sort of information kind of flies in the face of that, or is it like a happy medium that we're trying to find? Because actually, if you're doing an EICR on, say, I don't know, a 3-bed house, let's say a 2-bed flat, a big 2-bed flat, so you're probably going to have, I don't know, perhaps 3 rings in there. No, well, 2 rings in there, sorry. A couple of lighting circuits, boiler, stuff like that. How deep do you need to go to sort of assess the installation? But on top of that, if you don't, I don't do much testing. I'm interested in learning about testing. So how far is there sort of like when you, so for instance, right, the other day,
take a breath. Just take a breath, mate.
I've never seen
breathe.
Not being able to talk. What
I'm trying to do is...
He had a donut in his mouth, though.
What I'm trying to do is think of an example. Right, so the other day, I went and fitted some lights up for this old girl around the corner, right? And I went into a house and I looked at it. I looked at a board. I looked at some of the installation, took the light fitting down, and I could see someone had took some real nice time to dress everything nicely. It wasn't just all hickory-pickory in there, and like everything in the board was all nicely laid out and stuff. And I was just like, I probably don't need to go too deep into this because actually it's quite nice. And are we saying that when you do your EICRs, you sample a few, you can kind of get a feel for the place without having to take everything off?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a long
You're
way
right.
to get in there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're right, mate.
Oh, sorry, Mark, go on.
I was just going to say, you get a feel for it, don't you? You've used your engineering judgment there, Sam. That's exactly what happens. And you're referencing about other tests you can do and being more detailed in your testing. There's nothing stopping anyone from doing that. I mean, if you want to be that thorough in your work, you can be. A guidance note 3 is just a guidance document. This is just some of the information from within it. So you don't have to be bound to that. But if you're looking at compliance, that's generally accepted as the standard that people, work to and work towards.
And sorry, Mark, I do this all the time. I'm sorry. What a lot of people who preach this good practice, not saying E5 or anyone like that, but what I'm saying is when people go, oh, you can't do a quick EICR, perhaps you can't. Some properties you can because you just know you can look in there and it'll be all right. But there is a balance, isn't there, that needs to be struck between thoroughness and profit. And at the end of the day, we're not in this game to like break even. We're in this game to make as much money as possible, but do it the right way. And it's finding that balance when it comes to these EICRs. You can go and do a test from the van and be like, sit outside and be like, give me a number between 1 and 50. Do you know what I mean? You could do that, but that's not ethical and not right. So it's finding this balance. Do you go in and you pull everything apart so you can walk away knowing that everything's perfect? Or do you do sampling amounts and maximize your time in there, get out, get paid, good jobs are good?
Yeah, I think the thing with that, because obviously I do a hell of a lot of the estate agents, but obviously I have my own ones. And I've said before, the estate agents ones, the price is vastly different because I get a lot more from them. That's what it is. I could easily book myself in one EICR in privately for me and Adam, and do a little job in the afternoon and the money's made for the day, or I make sure I get 2 EICRs in for the estate agents. But equally, you're a competent electrician. You need to walk away thinking, this certificate I've just done, is it a competent electrician certificate? Because at the end of the day, you only got the next electrician along from me needs to look at it. He then pick up something. If I haven't filled that with the right information or haven't covered my arse with the writing of, yes, I've done 30%, I've checked so-and-so and so-and-so, written in the notes, taking pictures on my iPad and attaching them to the certificates, the more information, the better. Or I could not do any of that, do the bare minimum, get picked up, and then him go, well, actually, there was 2 spurs in the loft that you didn't find, and, you know, it was exposed cable. You only need one person to find that out, goes to the estate agents, then I've lost all that work. So you need to weigh up of how much time do I spend, but equally, if I cock up, what's the repercussions of this as a competent electrician? Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
you make a good point. You make a great point, Nick. You've got to look after your business reputation while you're doing all of this. That's really important, and ultimately the safety of people. You know, I'm all about putting the engineering judgment in electricians' hands, so trusting them to make decisions based on the installations they're inspecting, rather than being in fear of someone pulling them apart for something they've done. I mean, you're saying there about another local contractor who'd maybe pull your pants down a bit, essentially. You know, I don't understand the mindset of someone who would go around trying to do that anyway. We should all be kind of trying to help and support each other in any way we can. But with the periodic inspection, you know, you're looking at documentation as well. So you might have prior test reports. You might have sound knowledge that maintenance is taking place. So especially with letting agents, that when repairs are getting done to the property, they've been done by electricians, not by DIY enthusiasts. So you have that knowledge of the installation, and you can base your inspection on that. You might have another property where, you know, there's been no maintenance, and, you know, it's been ransacked by DIY Dave or Deirdre doing all sorts of stuff, and you're not going to do any sampling. You want to pull the whole thing apart. Same in some commercial and industrial situations, but that's having the confidence to use your own engineering judgment to do that. And I think that's an important aspect of periodic inspection reports, and a key difference with initial verification.
Yeah, well, this is the thing I've found at the moment, because of the new law that's coming saying all the rental properties have to have EICRs done, is how many fuse boards have been fitted that have no trace of no paperwork or anything, even fitted last year that I've been doing, nothing. Yeah. And even a couple of them I've looked at and gone, sweet, it's better than my boards, like genuinely super impressed. Oh, where's the certificate for it? Who did it? Don't know. I think, what? But... made my life
I've had
easier
a lot of them recently myself as well with estate agents. So many certificates. Every single house has a brand new fuse board that got installed a few months ago. None of them have certificates. So they call me out to do the periodic certificate because they need it. All of them have new boards. No paperwork to trace it back to anybody. Some of them are really good. Some of them are just absolute shambles. They literally, some of the builders that changed it, they mix and match all the different brands of the breakers, whether it fits in or not, ram it in, no grommets, no nothing. Some of them don't bother like changing this and that. And is he all right? Is he all right?
Yeah, I think his shed door keeps slamming, I think.
Oh, that's an interesting shed door. But yeah, so yeah, the EICRs, it's been an interesting one recently.
Yeah, well, while we're talking about it, there's this handy guide that Napier have produced.
Is that the code book? The one with the little
no, it's not the code. It's not the code breakers book. This is one to do with the private rental sector. So it's the landlord and electrical inspectors guidance for the private rental sector. So they've actually created a book that kind of talks through it, because a lot of people don't understand exactly what the obligations are. It came into force last year, but I think is at the end of April or the start of April, where anyone who's currently in private rented property has to have a valid EICR in place. So yeah, Napier produced this. It's well worth checking out. It's not the most expensive book in the world. So if you are a landlord or letting agent and happen to be listening to this and you think we're all waffling away trying to scam you out of money, go and give that a read, because it tells you all about it in there. We've just said, mate.
I had an argument with the letting agents, because obviously I'm not the only spark doing their stuff. I think there's was about 6, but I was the only spark putting 5 years for change of tenant on the certificates. And I think we said this in a previous one. And I had a stand-up conversation with a guy in the wholesaler who was doing them. He was like, no, it's just 5 years. I said, well, it's not, is it? It's 5 years of change of tenant. Why is it change of tenant? I said, the fact I have to explain this to you, you are 20 years older than me. Why don't you know this? And yeah, and he just turned around and was like, well, I don't understand. I was like, well, you clearly, if there's no earth on the, let's read on the EICR, there's no earth on the lighting, which is fine. If there's class 2 fittings everywhere, it's fine. The new tenants come in, they'd go, oh, I want metal brush chrome switches everywhere. Bang, there we go, they're on. How do you know? Is that written down on your certificate, on your sheet, that they were class 2, there's no earth, blah, blah, blah. And then 2 days later, he turns to metal. They get a shock. You get naffed off. Anyway, and he was just like, oh, you're not supposed so. And I told the letting agents, they were like, well, can I see the documentation? It's like, it's just common sense. But, hey,
So I had to run off because my daughter's going to bed and she's very daddy-fied at the moment. And she's like, she needs to say goodnight to daddy before she goes to bed. And I don't mind one bit. Right, so where was we? Nick's boring story about EICRs. Anyway, moving on.
Cool. Well, I'm just going to set my phone.
What are you going to do? Tweet out about your ingots? Listen, Mark, what else have you got for us today? I'm sure you had something else you texted me about, and I was like, oh, Mark, I'll read your
I think we kind of covered it a bit. It was just about the letting agent side of things, really, that they get a bit of a bad press. And we've just said there that they do need to educate themselves a little bit about these PRS things that have come in. But I do a lot of work for letting agents, and most of them are proper decent. They just want to look after the properties in the best way they can. And, you know, I think I saw a post on LinkedIn about somebody who kind of packaged up stuff to a letting agent, and, you know, people calling into question what they're doing with no context. So saying that they're kind of devaluing the whole thing by offering these different packages to customers. And I don't understand that at all, because it's all about setting yourself apart. If you can solve a problem for a customer, and letting agents are big ones for a lot of electricians, by solving a few issues at once, so your emergency light testing, your smoke alarms, your pat testing.
What I was talking about in my stories a few days ago. Exactly what I was saying, talking about offering packages. That's what I offer my clients, and literally everything at once. I go in, one property, smash out everything, and yeah, they love it.
Expand on that for me, please. Expand on that for me, please, Kimmy.
So yeah, like the emergency lighting certificate, smoke alarm certificate. You can also do a fire safety certificate. I was saying that you don't legally have to have qualifications to do it. You just have to be a competent person. So I've also spent time to figure out what that is and all the different parts. So I offered that as a service. Floor plans, pat test. What else do I do?
Oh, you don't pat test, do you?
Property. I do pat test. It was just a course that was included in my when I paid for my qualification when I first started. It was just included with the whole thing. So I just done the pat test course. No. Last time I'd done it was actually last week. I pat tested 1 free.
Yeah, I get asked to every now and then. I've got a pat tester and I'm qualified in it. I just detest it.
The thing is, I do
much.
a minimum price. So whether you're on pat testing 1 or 5, it's a minimum price. And the landlord, some of them love it. They just want the more paperwork, the more secure they feel. So they're like, yeah, just pat test, just the fridge. And I'm like, that's gonna cost you that much. They're like, all right, and I don't mind. I'm like, yeah, I'll just plug
top tips from
me
to
the
what is going on?
Yeah, tick, put the sticker on. Wait, what's that?
You're cutting out.
Froze.
What is going on here with you lot?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I can see now.
Listen, these are top tips coming from Kimmy. Like, honestly, top tips. Wrapping it up, minimum pat testing fee, all that stuff. Yeah. That's good stuff for people out there.
That is really good, to be fair.
That. So yes, 1 to 10 items. Normally, I charge the standard clients, like, depends obviously how many you book. I don't know. Are we allowed to talk prices?
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Okay. Normally, it's £65, 1 to 10 items, however many it is. And then after that, I charge per item on top of that. So that includes your stickers and your certificate. So sometimes it'll be 3 things. Sometimes it'll be 10, £65 standards.
Oh my God.
I think it's a song, Sam. I need to get my pat tester back out, I think.
We do exactly the same, to be fair. We do exactly the same.
So
Like, Kimmy, you're breaking up
I
so
also
badly.
a fight.
You're breaking up so badly. It's killing me. I'm actually going to get triggered in a minute.
Oh, she's still. At least she's frozen in a nice way, and like you the other day, Sam, where you look like you've melted.
She's made a brilliant point, though, hasn't she? Been able to package those services up as an electrician. You can turn, instead of that one EICR where you're saying booking another one for the afternoon, Nick, if you can tie in some pat testing, some emergency light testing, and some smoke alarms, you can make good money on that one property. You know, and it's more work, and that you're keeping the landlord happy or the letting agent because you're covering a lot of things in one hit, less organisation for them, especially with coronavirus at the minute. The less people going into properties, the better. So it's win-win.
My problem is, I mean, Kimmy sounds like she's got it sorted around that area, but trying to get 60 quid out of someone, a landlord around here, to say, I'm sorry, but either your smoke alarms are out of date or whatever, is difficult enough for me to go, I want this pack testing, and this is smoke alarms, this is that. They would literally just go, absolute no way. They would show me the money and then they'd put it away and go, you're not having any of it. Give me my certificate. Piss off. That's pretty much what they say. I want you to do the bare minimum in my house. Give me a certificate and I'll see you in 5 years. That is pretty much the way it is around here. But
that's because
that's the reality for a lot of electricians.
Go on then, Sam. Say that again.
Because it's a creepy north. Chicken, free chickens, yeah.
Honestly, do you know what, Kimmy? Do you know what he said the other day? He says he's going to set up a boxing match, right? And he thinks he could take me. That's what he said.
Yeah, I can
easily.
Definitely. Not even. It's not even a competition.
I will definitely come and watch that.
You could be a ring girl.
I think Kimmy will knock you out in a minute. So.
Hello.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, you're back now. Is she back? Yeah, she's back. Yeah. Oh, Sam's always got to lower the mood, doesn't he, as usual?
Listen.
It's frozen. She's just frozen on your arm like that.
The gun show's in town. Listen, we're going to have to wrap this up because Kimmy's connection is terrible.
Hello? Wait. There you go. Look.
Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Listen,
shut up, Sam. I was going to say, you've got the line tattoos, haven't you? Like, is it down your legs as well?
That's a bit personal, isn't it?
No. Because
this thing?
Yeah, because my friend's got that. Oh, I've got this light on, but he's got them. Like you say, it goes up and it joins on his back and it goes down his thighs and then down to his feet.
Well, it's for me to know and for none of you guys to find out how far down it goes.
There we go. I've turned into Sam.
Oh, yes. Best Monday Club ever, apart from Kimmy's connection. He's shooting.
You know what? When I used to go, do you know what it is? When I used to go clubbing, I used to get that question all the time. These little pervs come up. How far down does that go? And I'm like,
That's not what I meant.
It starts here.
Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead.
And it goes down, but I'm not saying how far down it goes.
I'm so happy right now.
I'm going to go.
All our careers are over.
You know what? That's because you with the JCB thing. I told you to cut that out, edit it out.
No.
You wouldn't do it.
No.
You wouldn't do it. I begged you. I was like, Sam, please. I don't want anybody to find out.
No, I can't do it, I'm afraid.
Sam doesn't know how to edit videos.
Wait until you see my new video. I've got my new software now. I've got little transitions and everything. It's highly blessed.
Highly blessed.
Highly blessed. Right. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I've had a lot of fun tonight. We're out.
Bye,
everybody.
Thank you.
safe for continued use.